Hey everyone! Welcome back to Reliable Review Lab, your go-to destination for in-depth and no-nonsense tech reviews. Today, we're diving into something truly exciting, the camera capabilities of the Samsung Galaxy S24 Ultra. Camera with flash. Now, I know camera settings can feel overwhelming sometimes, but don't worry, I've got your back. I'll walk you through everything I use to shoot cinematic videos and stunning photos with this phone, and I promise, whether you own a Galaxy device or something entirely different, you can apply the same philosophy to maximize your results. So grab your coffee, sit back, and let's unlock the full power of your smartphone camera. Movie Camera Part 1, Gear Up First. Before we even touch the screen, let's talk about the tool I'm using to mount the phone, a pro-grade camera cage. This specific one was sent by our sponsor, SmallRig, and trust me, it's more than just a frame. It supports quick-release handles, has multiple mounting points for lights and mics, and even includes a wireless shutter button. This transforms your smartphone into a mobile filmmaking beast. Raising hands. Even if you're using a different phone, investing in simple accessories like this can seriously boost your filming comfort and performance. Gear Part 2, Optimizing the Camera App Layout. Once we open the stock Samsung Camera app, the first thing I like to do is customize the mode layout for quicker access. I've added Pro Photo mode to the far left and Pro Video mode to the far right. Here's how to do it. Tap on More. Long press on a mode like Pro Video. Drag it into your quick access bar. This layout helps me jump straight into manual shooting without scrolling through menus. Trust me, it's a simple tweak that saves time and improves workflow on the go. Sunrise over Mountains Part 3, Intelligent Optimization and HDR, when to use it. Head over to the camera settings by tapping the gear icon. The first thing I recommend checking is Scene Optimizer or Intelligent Optimization. I keep it on max, it usually enhances scenes without looking too artificial. Now, let's get into HDR 10 Plus video. This is a hot topic. HDR sounds amazing, right? But here's the truth, it's only helpful in specific lighting conditions. Backhand index pointing right. Use HDR when the sky is bright and the shadows are deep. You need to capture both highlights and details. Backhand index pointing right. Avoid HDR when the weather is overcast. You're shooting in flat lighting conditions. In cloudy conditions, HDR often overprocesses the image and reduces contrast. I always encourage creators to train their eyes. Know when HDR helps and when it just adds unnecessary artifacts. Black Square Button Part 4, Grid Lines, Voice Commands and Stabilization Tips. Turn grid lines on, it's a must for framing shots with better symmetry. Voice commands? I'm gonna be honest, it's hit or miss. I've tried yelling, "Take a photo," across a busy street while my phone sat on a tripod, and yeah, it never listened. Face with tears of joy. If you're serious about shooting remotely, use a Bluetooth shutter remote or the one included in the SmallRig cage I mentioned earlier. As for super steady mode, I usually leave it off. Why? Because the built-in stabilization on the Galaxy S24 Ultra is already fantastic, and enabling super steady reduces the resolution to 1440p. But just to prove a point, I'll compare both modes later in this video so you can see for yourself. Brain Part 5, Must-Know Settings. Under Settings to Keep. In the Settings to Keep section, I enable the following. Camera mode. Selfie angle. High picture resolution. Portrait zoom. These ensure my preferences don't reset every time I open the app. I disable filters and keep image processing as clean as possible. Let the raw sensor quality shine. Hammer and Wrench Part 6, Unlocking Hidden Features with Camera Assistant app. Download Camera Assistant from the Galaxy Store, it's a game changer. Some settings I enable. Zoom shortcuts, quickly jump to 2x, 10x, etc. Picture softening, off. Auto lens switching, off, helps avoid that awkward lens jump. Distortion correction, on. High resolution adaptive pixel, on. Quick tap shutter, on, takes a shot instantly without a delay. All of this makes your shooting experience more fluid and professional. Clapperboard Part 7, Resolution and Frame Rate, What You Should Use. Here's my personal take. Resolution, stick with 4K at minimum. Frame rate, I shoot mostly at 30 fps for better dynamic range and cleaner images. Yes, 60 fps gives smoother motion, but 30 fps provides more bitrate per frame, which means more detail, especially in low light or when color grading. Lock your exposure and white balance before recording, especially if you're panning or moving through different light zones. You don't want your colors shifting mid-shot. Film frames Part 8, Going Manual with Pro Video Mode. Now for my favorite part, Pro Video Mode. It's where the real creative control happens. Set your resolution, 4K at 30 fps. Aspect ratio, 16:9, avoid full unless you want extra crop. Manual controls. ISO, use low values like ISO 50 for daylight. Push it to 400 to 800 in low light if needed. Shutter speed, double your frame rate for natural motion blur, 1/60th for 30 fps. If it overexposes, use an ND filter. Focus, use center or manual focus when framing product shots or cinematic angles. White balance, I recommend sticking with auto unless you're in a controlled lighting environment. Camera Part 9, Lenses and Exposure Compensation. The 1x main lens performs the best, it has a wider aperture and gathers more light. But when you switch to the telephoto lens, the aperture narrows, and you'll need to increase ISO or slow shutter speed to maintain proper exposure. Always check the EV meter, exposure value. In Pro mode, it's super helpful for dialing in the perfect exposure. Calendar release date and pricing. The Samsung Galaxy S24 Ultra was officially unveiled on January 17, 2024, during Samsung's annual Galaxy Unpacked event. It hit the shelves worldwide by January 31, 2024. Pricing varies by region and configuration. Galaxy S24 Ultra 256GB, $1,299. Galaxy S24 Ultra 512GB, $1,419. Galaxy S24 Ultra 1TB, $1,659. Now, let's go deep into what this beast can do, particularly focusing on camera features, pro tips, and best settings for both beginners and advanced users. This in-depth guide is based on real-life hands-on testing and covers everything you need to know to unlock the true power of the S24 Ultra camera system. Movie camera. Getting started, setting up the Galaxy S24 Ultra for shooting. Before diving into settings, let's first mount the S24 Ultra onto a professional accessory rig. In this guide, I use a modular small rig cage designed for smartphones, offering quick release handles for smooth control, built-in shutter button for remote snapping, access to the S Pen slot, multiple 1/4-inch mounts for mics, lights, and filters. Mounting your S24 Ultra gives you cinematic control when filming or shooting in the streets or even on a tripod. Camera rearranging camera modes for fast access. Inside the native Samsung Camera app, the first optimization you should make is to customize your mode carousel. On the left, Pro Photo. On the right, Pro Video. To do this, tap on More. Long press Pro Photo or Pro Video. Drag them into the bottom panel for easy access. Having these modes readily available saves time and lets you instantly jump into full manual control. Wrench Basic Photo Settings, Auto Mode. Scene Optimizer, turn this on, max setting, for better color recognition. Grid Lines, always enable. Essential for framing. Voice commands, optional. I personally skip it, too unreliable in noisy or public environments. Settings to keep. Camera mode. Selfie angle. Picture resolution. Portrait zoom. Filters, keep OFF for natural colors. Super steady, turn off unless you're in extremely shaky scenarios, more on this later. Movie camera advanced video settings. HDR10+ video, Keep OFF unless you're in bright, high-contrast scenes, sunsets, reflections, dynamic lighting. It looks worse in overcast conditions. Resolution and frame rate. 4K at 30 frames per second offers the best balance of quality and bit rate. 8K only if you want ultra-detailed landscape shots or future-proofing your footage. Grid lines, enable for video as well. Video stabilization. Default stabilization is excellent. Super steady crops footage and lowers resolution to 1440p, only use when necessary. Hammer and Wrench Pro Video Mode Setup. If you want full control like a DSLR or mirrorless camera, Pro Video Mode is where the Galaxy S24 Ultra truly shines. Black square button aspect ratio. Stick to 16:9 for YouTube or cinematic work. Full screen crops your footage, avoid if maintaining true field of view is important. Thermometer ISO settings. Keep ISO as low as possible, e.g., ISO 50 to 100, in daylight for minimal noise. In low light, you can go up to ISO 800 to 1000, but remember, higher ISO equals more grain. Stopwatch shutter speed. Golden rule, shutter speed equals 2x frame rate. 30 frames per second 1/60s. 60 frames per second 1/125s or faster. No ND filter? Then you might need to increase shutter speed or lower ISO to correct exposure. Direct hit focus modes. Center AF is good for general use. Use manual focus for product or cinematic B-roll. Balance scale white balance. Surprisingly, auto white balance on S24 Ultra works very well. Manual only if you're color grading in post, but note, you cannot control green/magenta tint manually. Camera with Flash Pro Photo Mode tips. In Pro Photo, manual settings work similarly. Lower ISO for crisp shots. Adjust shutter for motion blur. Use manual focus plus peaking for precision. RAW photos, shoot in RAW for flexibility in post-editing. Magnifying glass tilted left camera assistant app, must have. Download Camera Assistant from Galaxy Store to unlock deeper settings. Zoom shortcuts, add 2x, 3x, 10x digitally cropped presets. Picture softening, turn off for sharper images. Auto lens switching, disable to keep consistent look. Distortion correction, enable. Quick tap shutter, enable for faster photo capture. School backpack recommended accessories for better shots. Using these accessories enhances your content creation. Small rig cage, as mentioned above. ND filters for proper exposure in daylight. External mic, Rode Wireless Go 2 or DADV Mic D4 Duo. Tripod with pan head, for buttery pans. Clamp mount, for POV filming. Cityscape real-world examples and comparison. To test stability. Regular mode, 4K, versus Super Steady, 1440p. Super Steady performs better in chaotic movement but lowers quality. Default mode gives best results if you're walking smoothly. Example, while filming in downtown with bright sunlight and polarized sunglasses, the display remained 100% visible, something the Xiaomi 14 Ultra struggled with. Direct hit night photography tips. Use 1x main sensor for best low light quality. Boost ISO, up to 800 max. Stabilize your phone using a tripod. Turn off HDR in dark scenes. Use night mode manually only when needed. Bar chart manual versus auto, when to use what? Scenario. Mode. Settings to use. Daylight landscape. Pro Photo. ISO 50, shutter 1/250, manual focus. Night street scenes. Pro Video. ISO 800, shutter 1/30th, tripod required. Action/sports. Auto video. 4K 60 frames per second, super steady on. Product B-roll. Pro Video. ISO 100, manual focus, 1/60th shutter. File folder storage and file sizes. Video in 4K 30 frames per second takes approximate 350 megabytes per minute. 128GB storage equals 6 hours of 4K video. Consider cloud backup or 1TB model for creators. Speaker high volume audio tips. Use an external mic for interviews or dialogue. Set mic gain manually in Pro Video mode if needed. Use Samsung's native voice enhancement toggle in settings. Chart increasing exporting, editing and uploading. Export to Adobe Premiere, DaVinci Resolve or CapCut. Convert HDR footage to SDR if needed. Use LUTs for color correction. For YouTube, upload in 4K to enable VP9 encoding. Checkered flag final thoughts. Why S24 Ultra is the best camera phone right now. Built-in stabilization rivaling GoPros. RAW support and full manual controls. Unmatched HDR when lighting conditions are right. S Pen adds editing and remote capture flexibility. Samsung has nailed nearly every aspect of smartphone photography in the Galaxy S24 Ultra, making it a top-tier tool for content creators. Party popper milestone and thank you. Huge shout out to all subscribers. During the making of this guide, I received my 100K YouTube play button, all thanks to your incredible support. Reliable Review Lab is just getting started, and there's much more to come. Right arrow next watch, check out my Galaxy S24 Ultra Night Mode Masterclass video, and stay tuned for the iPhone 15 Pro Max camera comparison. Thanks for reading.